As part of efforts in deepening the OTC market in Nigeria, the NASD OTC exchange today introduced its enterprise portal to capital market stakeholders. CEO of the NASD OTC, Mr. Bola Ajomale, shared with stakeholders the value of the portal to the market.
How it works: on engagement, sell client on the left appoints an enterprise representative. An enterprise representative is the DDA on the enterprise side. There are two sides to it. There's an enterprise and there's an investor. So the enterprise representative will format the data and upload the data into the portal. Because it's an online portal, it's an access-only portal. And because of that, we don't want to give access to all enterprises, because before you know it, you get all sorts of viruses and all sorts of things going on that you don't want. So what we want to do is we want to know exactly who and have a direct relationship with whoever is going into the portal, which is why we're having this discussion today. So one of your roles would be as enterprise representative, which is to format the data and upload it. There are quite a few other things that ride on that as well, that I'll get to. On the other side, an investor may decide to go direct. An investor is a private equity firm, a venture capital firm, or an accredited investor. They may want to go directly, or, as someone said, if you have a fund out in Netherlands that's looking at investing in Nigeria, they probably don't want to fly in one of their staff to come and start sniffing around Nigeria. What they probably want to do is appoint a representative in Nigeria to represent them and do their due diligence and also even negotiate on their behalf. So they would, on an optional basis, appoint an investor representative. I know that quite a few issuing houses and financial advisors have clients as well, that investing clients. So at that point, you'll be bringing in your clients as investors, and you'd actually be sniffing out investors, you'd be sniffing out investment opportunities for them. Once both are appointed, interactions start. The very beginning and part of the templates that we have in the portal are non-disclosure agreements and all the other agreements as well. They're all templated into the portal. So they actually sign off on all this information, on what levels of disclosure they want to give each other first, before they then get into the further discussion. They go into the discussions, conclude the transaction either successfully or not. Whether it works successfully or not, we expect that a report will be made. Because we're registering both sides of the transaction, we expect that a report will be made on what the conclusion was. So if it worked, great, let us know. If it didn't work, let us know. And then the company can go back again round the cycle of trying to raise its funding again if it needs to. So what we do is we provide a central database, essentially, of investment opportunities and investor pools. So you have the investment opportunities on one side, you have the investor pools on the other, and they can actually interact with each other through the portal. As an investor, you can filter the information to look for a particular industry, or look for companies of a particular, by age, or by size, or by growth, or by location. You can actually filter across a very wide field to identify the type of investments you want. The investor or the investor representative does not get in touch with the enterprise. We will not allow enterprises to interact directly on the portal. If we do, then things will quickly go, they will quickly spiral, and then companies may end up saying they've been taken advantage of or so on. So we want them to come in with an advisor that will hold their hand through this whole process. On execution, all the agreements are done, transactions are closed. It may take 6 months, it may take a year, but what we would appreciate, and part of the reason why we're doing this, is that we would want the terms or the valuations to be reported to the portal. That's that's critical for us, because that is really the information that we require in the country to show what capital flows, where capital is flowing, what projects, what industry is attracting capital, where the capital is coming from, and so on, and where do we expect the next wave of growth. It's very important to us in terms of recording our success. It's also important to the country in seeing which industries are critical and growth-oriented and are attracting the most funding. If you at any point feel that you cannot continue with an obligation, either because of your discussions with your client, either on the enterprise side or on the investor side, you immediately should let us know. Again, that's critical so that there is no issue of misrepresentation. At any point when you're engaged as a representative, NASD should know about it, and when you disengage as a representative, it's important for us to know within immediate effect. The SEC was very concerned that we're not doing backdoor private placements, and the private placements are not being spread to more than the boundaries of what a private placement should be. And so the enterprise representative is required to keep a register of whoever they distribute information to. In fact, information does not go out about the company, detailed information in the form of either an info memo or any other placement document, cannot go out unless it is registered. Part of the obligations of the ER is also to keep a record of who it is distributed to and report to us. All information that is put up is discretionary. If you choose not to disclose some information, again, we've had some interaction with various players in the market, and they said, but what if, am I bound to disclose everything? And how do you ensure that everything has been disclosed? And we said, well, no, you're not required to certify that you have disclosed everything. Just confirm that what you have put up, you agree with yourself. All information is discretionary. If you don't put up enough information about your client, for example, they won't get any bites. It's a simple fact. And so your obligation is to put up enough information that would allow investors to be interested. And if you're an investor representative, it's up to you really to dig through and find out as much as you need to be able to advise your client on the right value for the investment. If you want to come in as an investor representative alone, then you'll be able to represent only investors. You'll be negotiating on their behalf, sourcing opportunities on their behalf. We would have a link. We'd have a section where we have all the investor representatives, and those are linked directly to your website. So anyone who's looking for a representative can actually see the list and see your name on the list and then follow through to you. An investor cannot appoint you unless you are registered with NASD, with NASDEP. The fee is $1 million per annum. For the first year, this is in recognition of the fact that actually this first session is for everyone who registered in the past as an issuing house with NASD. In recognition of that, we have a 30% discount for all the issuing houses who have registered as issuing houses with NASD in the past. But for every year, it's $1 million to come in. So no registration fee, just $1 million every year, and then you can come in. You can place adverts. There are different categories, but really we're only opening the first category. The first category is for those who are coming in essentially as partners to the market. And you can place adverts. You have a page each, and so you can put all your services up on that one page. For enterprise representatives, you are allowed 5 logins. For investor representative, you are allowed 3 logins. In other words, 3 profiles are allowed to log in. Enterprise and investor is a combination of the 2, but again, we expand it up to 10. So there'll be 10 logins, but some of them must be supervisory logins. In other words, people who would, your compliance officer and some other supervisors who cannot edit information or be active on it, but at least they can observe everything that's going on. We actually require it. And that's for 2.5 million. Again, the discount applies to that. In terms of numbers, your saving in if you come in on both sides, your saving in 2018 will be $750,000, and your fee in 2019 will be $2.5 5 million.
Mr. Jomale speaks further on the essence of the portal to the Nigerian market.
First and foremost, the enterprise portal is an information database. It has information on all enterprises that we come across. A lot of it is useful for comparison purposes, it's useful for valuation purposes, it's useful for general research. In addition, it's also very useful for you to be able to dimension the size of the Nigerian economy. For the enterprises themselves, it gives them an opportunity to start falling in line and getting used to the idea of reporting publicly, not publicly, but reporting to meeting certain standards of reporting, which we believe will be very important for them in next stage financing when they're going for additional financing. That's the first part of it. The second part of it is that we also find that a lot of information that is being put out by companies sometimes is not standardized, and so what we're doing today is we're engaging SEC registered operators, capital market operators, and trying to get them to see the value of them working hand in hand with these enterprises and helping them standardize the information that they put out there. Again, it'll be holding their financial statements, it'll be holding probably some write-up on the company and what they're doing. So it's really engaging the whole spectrum of the market, starting from the upstream end, hoping that we'll groom these companies into a stage where they can then approach the public market some years down the line.
One interesting feature of the NASD Enterprise Portal is the fact that it will provide growth-oriented enterprises with access to patient capital and strategic partnerships. This is a laudable initiative from the NASD, which investors and stakeholders will be eager to see how it translates to transforming Nigeria's financial market landscape.